Let me unmute myself. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? Happy Sunday, right? Again, it's every Sunday we meet. Um, I have, I've got to, I was a little late because I'm trying to fix what are these things? Options, I guess, in my studio. Hold on just one second. Blur intensity. Let's crack that down. I was having problems with it. So I was trying to fix it before it came on. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Yeah, the Donna was like, the world is going crazy. And it seems like it sometimes, doesn't it? Whenever I first learned about Chad Daybell, I say speaking from the prison pulpit, basically, because he's used to that as a patriarch, as a guy in the LDS religion. They talk and talk and talk and talk and they talk. But during the entire investigation, especially when the kids were missing, we heard nothing, nothing at all. Nothing to, I mean, my parents reached out to him even via social media, trying to plead with him as a grandfather, as a dad, as a father, to try and help them learn where JJ and Tylee were. So he said nothing, nothing, nothing. And so the other, it sent me reeling, like I was reeling, okay? Because it's just, we've heard Lori, we've heard way too much of Lori, in my opinion, but that's me. I'm biased. So it just, I don't know. It's like it hit you all over again because you're not expecting it. I was not expecting for Chad Daybell to ever break his silence. Then it's not only did he break his silence, but he also is trying to rebrand and rewrite history, his history, our history, the victim's history. Um, that was decided upon, well, decided by a jury of his peers that he was guilty. Not only was he guilty, but he deserved the death penalty. He deserves to die for what he put his victims through. So, I mean, can we all be wrong? Who's not here to talk are the victims. They're not here to confirm or deny anything that Chad Daybell and or Lori and or anybody else is saying, to save their own asses, in my opinion. But that's just me. So the other night, I first saw it on East Idaho News with Nate Eaton, and I was just, I had to get up and like, I could still hear it. It was, Nate Eaton was reading and I could hear within earshot, but I got up and did that thing that I do, which is, I call it nervous cleaning. I had to get up and physically be doing something to exert the energy that was coming off of me that was from what Chens or Saban said in Colby's chat. She called it sins of the chins, and I was like, that's epic. Okay, sins of the chins. So, anyways, but yeah, so I was like nervous cleaning just to get that off me because it was a lot. It really did send me reeling, and I'm not the only one because my mom also texted me the next night, and let's see. She said, she put this in quotes, everlasting love. And I was like, I thought it was my text at first. Like, I thought my mom was sending my own text to me before, like, again, I don't know, not from any time recent, but anyways, it just it made me chuckle. She said, everlasting love. And she put the equal sign and she says, cult code for donate money to Chud for commissary and phone because he's on death row. If I learn nothing more from you, is like-minded people will probably get his letters. I'll be working on shutting him up ASAP. He doesn't deserve a platform. I'll die before he gets to continue doing this BS. The audacity of that no, well, of that no balls MFer to even reach out publicly is beyond me. I love you. Good night. Anyways, and I was just like, oh my God. So my mom, who has not researched into the culture of Mormonism, like minded people, the people who in Chad's circle act just like him. It's really weird and fascinating that so many of the people in the same circle behave the same exact way. And I mean, I'm it is what it is. Like, you're welcome to do your own research and find out. I implore you to do that. However, this is my findings. Like, this is what I have come to the conclusion of, and it's always open. Just know that my mind is always open and open for new ideas. Okay. Um, so, she also asked me, can FOIA requests be made for his phone calls on death row? And I mean, as far as I know, yes, we can request, but I don't know what the jails would be inclined, or I don't know what by law they have to, if they would have to even uh, release them. So we can FOIA anything, but it's up to the facility or the department, I believe, as far as what they're going to get out. So me and Jason were talking, and he was like, well, is there any probable cause? Like, what would be the reason? And I'm like, do you have to have a probable cause or a reason to request these things? It's just interesting how some facilities will release them, some will not. And it's also interesting, I think, that, and I don't know if this is his angle, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. And I mean, I can't really blame him. But, like Nate Eaton, where we know that they don't do interviews from the prison, the women's prison there. But I don't know. Is he trying to open that door to possibilities, And I mean, as a reporter, I don't blame him. Just saying. It's just kind of these questions that run through my mind. Then, so I'm trying to read over my reply to her. Okay, so I wrote, this entire time I kept wondering when Idaho would be releasing the documents from their investigation. And then I remember thinking maybe they were waiting for Lori to adjudicate in Arizona first before releasing them. But no, that's not what happened. It's still not happened. Nothing ever happened. Koberger was even released before Lori and Chad's. Why? Their cases were processed out in both 2023 and 2024, and Arizona is finished. So what's the holdup? So literally, and I plan on tomorrow, I'm going to file a FOIA request again. And I think they have to respond within 20 days. I'm not sure though. They should have already processed and released all that years ago. At least all the investigative information, documents, and stuff like that. But I'll inquire the prison systems too on Monday. And so mom's like, then we can find out who's really truly believing him, if that is ever released in a FOIA request from the prison. We can find out. And to me, it's still an open investigation because they're still actively investigating Melanie Boudreaux Pulowski. Okay, so there's that part. Whether or not she's talking to Chad and or Lori, I don't know. How would we know unless we did a FOIA thing? That's the only way we would know. And other co-conspirators, in my opinion. There are so many other unnamed and named, remember? Named and unnamed co-conspirators. That was said by prosecution in Idaho. What else did she send me? Oh. And I said, it had the same effect on me too when I was listening to Nate Thursday night. I got up and started, I called it rage cleaning or nervous cleaning. I had to keep myself busy in a physical way to process the bullshit that I was hearing for the first time in over 6 years. I constantly wondered what you guys were thinking about all this stuff. So I'm glad you reached out and let me know and to get a sense of what you're thinking. Emma is the arbiter of this trauma train. She should seriously be ashamed of herself for further aiding and abetting her dad and all his sins of the chins. Okay. All right. So that's in a nutshell where I'm at, and I just shared with you somewhat of what my mom shared with me. And again, it's just like, I understand that they have rights, makes me cringe, but to what degree, to what length will they go? Where does that end? And harassment and or torturing the family members of victims, where does that end and where does that begin? Okay. So interesting. But I mean, I've also watched other cases, I'm going to use Gypsy Rose as an example, where, in my opinion, from my research and watching other people who research into things that have been stated, things that don't align with other statements initially, it's just like sometimes things can let's see, how do I frame this? Like, sometimes people paint themselves as a victim. And then, like in my opinion, in Gypsy Rose's case, it's like she painted her mom out to be this monster when, and I mean, you have to do your own research. Please don't knee-jerk react, okay? Like, it appears that it's not exactly how it was and not how it's been portrayed in media. Then you have to ask, well, what do these people who portray these things in the media, right? What do they have invested in that? What do they get from portraying a story a certain way? Okay. To exploit, to whatever, to make money, to profit off of. Anyway, so there's that. But, and I don't know, y'all know how I feel about Adam and Rex and doing their whole conversations with killers, with dead killers, actually, to be more specific. With the AI thing, Chad's not dead though. And I'm on this side of it. I'm not on the perps side of the family. I'm on this side of it. So I don't know. I have a Speechify app that does these things for me. And it reads letters from Chad for me. Okay. And so I have this app to where I imposed it with, let me grab it real quick so I can explain what I'm trying to do here. I think that's it. So it's a very crappy, I need to do another speech sample or whatever to try and get a better voice, but this isn't Chad's voice. And I don't know if anybody is completely opposed to it, then I'll read it myself, but it kind of, I'm a visual, I guess, and audible person. So it just makes me put it better into context as to, this is Chad's word. These are Chad's words, and they're shared by Chad's children. One of them being Emma, who posted, as I haven't gone to look at it myself. I've watched 3 different people cover this. I've watched Nate Eaton initially, and then I watched Lauren with Hidden True Crime, and then Colby live. And so, I mean, that's about as far as I've gone with it. I've not gone to x.com to look for myself. I have other things I'm trying to do to become less of a, to not allow them to take over my life anymore. I've been trying to get outside, touch the grass, cut the grass, get more in shape and things like that. So I haven't been trying to spend as much time digging into these things. and they are never ending. Okay, this is never ending. It's like they were also, like, they were convicted for life, multiple life sentences, and even death. And the same goes for my, like, me and my family. And I would have to say that about other family members who have lost their loved ones to murder and go through this. It's also a sentence for you. For you. You carry that. I carry that. And anyways, it's just, you can go so far down in the rabbit hole and still not have the answer. You can get answers, but not the answer. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and it's in Chad's voice. So ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Brace yourself. So this is, I didn't have, like, whenever you do a Speechify app and a new voice in the app, it gives you a script to read. And so you read it, and then it creates a voice off of what it gathered from you reading that particular script. Okay. But I used Chad Daybell's blessing, his patriarchal blessing to Alex. So it sounds very reminiscent of that, but it also puts in a lot of, like, air noise and background noise. And I'm just like, whoa, that's weird. Sounds like there's a bird back there. So anyways, for what it's worth, I pay $150 for this app every year. So I'm going to get my damn money's worth out of it. Letter 1.
By Chad Daybell, or August 30th, 2025, or letters or 0 comments.
Okay.
Hello, my friends. This is Chad Daybell writing to you from my cell in Idaho's maximum security institution. This is the first of several letters I will send. I want to thank everyone who sent me cards and letters while I have been incarcerated. Your kind words of support really helped me. I cherished each one.
I mean, can we stop there first off and just say, who in the hell? Who supports these people? Because I don't trust you, period. I don't trust your judgment. I don't know. I'm just kind of, no. Don't send them cards. Don't send them letters of support. For what? That's like saying, hey, you're okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's not your job. He was judged in a court of law. That is the law. Okay. You're not Jesus. So quit trying to save other people. Just saying, stop, please. It's disgusting. It's not just in this case. It's in other cases. I see it. I hear it. It's gross.
I arrived here at the prison in June 2024, and I suppose you could say I've settled in. As for death row itself, I won't be sharing details about my daily schedule or information about my fellow inmates.
To me, this sounds like he's in a club, and it's a secret club. I'm just saying, that's just how it is to me.
I arrived here at the prison in June 2024, and I suppose you could say I've settled in. As for death row itself, I won't be sharing details about my daily schedule or information about my fellow inmates.
Why?
As the newest arrival on death row, it isn't my place to talk about such things.
Whose place is it then? Like, first off, who even came up with this idea? And then who forwarded the conspiracy of the idea to splatter it all over the freaking social media and its own website, y'all? Chad has his own damn website. I don't even have a website yet, okay? I don't even have a website yet. But this dude from Death Row Prison Cell has his own damn website, published by his son Seth. Right here. Well, let me
By Chad Daybell, on August 30th, 2020.
I thought it would make me go to it. Oh, open link. There we go. Let's see. So this is the website. Letters from Chad. Okay. About the author. I'll read that. This is the picture that was chosen. This website is dedicated to letters to friends and family posted on behalf of Chad Daybell. Uploads are planned, so we can expect more of these every Monday and Thursday. All opinions are Chad Daybell's. Chad receives no financial compensation from the letters on this website or on the social platforms they are posted on. Chad Daybell is currently incarcerated, but is able to write these letters through a process. What process could that be, Seth and Emma? Huh? That enables them to be posted. Correct. Yeah, because you're being used again. If it's not your idea already, I'm just saying. So every Monday and Thursday, we can look forward to the internet being polluted with more of Chad Daybell's, in my opinion, lies. What else was it? Oh, Chad receives no financial compensation from the letters on this website or on the social platforms that they are posted on. Not directly, maybe, but through the grapevine and through the, I'd say, proselytization of your children, there will be people who will reach out and contact Chad and put money on his books, and then he'll send them cards, and he'll get just like he said in that letter, So it's not directly, I don't think, but it's just a matter of time, and just by a few degrees, a degree or so, before money starts changing hands and people start getting compensated. Okay. So how far are we going to go? How far? This is the home for letters from Chad. Welcome to Letters from Chad. This website features letters uncensored and unfiltered. Not truthful, though. It doesn't say truthful. Written by Chad Daybell from his cell on death row. All contained opinions are his. He receives no financial compensation. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. And so, yeah, we're reading letter number 1. And so let me bring you back over here and back to where we were. I'll start right here.
As the newest arrival on death row, it isn't my place to talk about such things. It really is a different world in here, but I'm surviving. And I spend a lot of time working on my upcoming appeals. I express my gratitude to each of you.
I mean, that could kind of explain why he's having to do this, because through the appeal process, maybe they're having to really dig deep. But, it's interesting because Chad Daybell he turned down doing a PSI, which is like a pre-sentencing investigation, where they were going to have to recall or call members of his family, or investigate members of his family, and meet with them from the defense side. And basically, I guess from the defense side, I don't really know now that I say that. So just to kind of, it factors into the sentencing of that person. And so he chose not to participate, which really let me down, because I really want to know some more history, and not just from Chad Daybell. Okay. We have his books. We have access to them. We've read them. We've heard them. We've listened to them. We've noted it. So yeah, that was a big letdown, in my opinion, from my point of view, but it's just interesting. So it's like making me wonder, why he's doing this is so. One big thing with this group is that, and I mean, this has been done with Mike Stroud. This has been done with Julie Rowe, and I'm sure it's going to be done here with Chad, because I mean, he's published Julie's books for sure. I don't know, but basically he'll write these letters, and then they compile them into a book, into book form. They've taken podcast and done this very thing. So, I mean, it's admitted to by Julie. It's admitted to by Mike Stroud. It'll say podcast 1 through 15 or whatever. So I'm just saying, what's coming on the horizon? What's coming up? To be expected? Because that would suck. I know there's like Son of Sam law. KJ in the Ray was the biggest advocate against this, y'all need to look into this. Y'all need to look into, and I did. I remember looking into it. I can't remember right at this moment. I know they can't profit off of their crimes. I'll have to revisit it to speak to it, but it's something along those lines. I don't know. All right. Yeah.
I express my gratitude to each of you who have been part of my life. While I was in the Fremont County Jail, I spent thousands of hours in an isolation cell. I wasn't allowed to have a clock, and it often
Good.
felt like time stood still. During those challenging days,
Time stood still whenever Tylee and JJ were missing for almost 10 months. Okay. So I don't feel sorry for you.
I would reflect on my life, working forward from childhood to more recent years. As memories came to me, I would write down the names of the people who had been positive influences in my life.
Why just positive? Why not all the experiences in your life? Okay. Cherry pick.
I felt strengthened as I remembered my extended family members, neighbors, jail workers, school classmates, business associates, church members, and friends I have been privileged to know. You have all enriched my life in so many ways. I am using this method to share my story because I want you to receive it uncensored and unfiltered directly from me. I am aware of how I have been portrayed in the media. Frankly, those portrayals of me are unrecognizable.
Oh.
I am not the man the media has created. I'm not a cult member.
Okay.
Who should be feared. I am not a conspirator or a killer. I never have been. I'm a father, a grandfather, a husband, a son, a brother, and a friend with a firm faith in the gospel of Jesus Christ.
It's not the same Jesus. Okay. First off. So no, you don't. And so right there, this makes me think, and this is just something that I'm going to posit here, is how I cover David Hamblin as well. Y'all know about that, right? David Hamblin, he is he's accused by his daughters and others of ritualistically harming them. And at one point in time, he was a psychiatrist or psychologist, I forget which one. And he was recommended clients or members of the church, like the bishop, who they're also accused in this ring, okay, of like when members of the church would have a problem or whatever, they would go to their bishop. The bishop would then turn around and like recommend the members of the church to people like Jody Hildebrandt, to people like David Hamblin, and others. There's others, okay? And I mean, this was huge, when Jesse Hildebrandt talked about their aunt Jody doing this, and I'm just like, whoa, because that was mind blowing to me. However, but to talk about David Hamblin a little bit. David allegedly believes in this parts theory. And so I don't know, it just kind of crossed my mind and I was like, oh my God. So David Hamblin, through this parts theory, what would happen is they would, or the goal is to fracture the mind, to split it into different parts, and it creates multiple personality disorder and or dissociative identity disorder. It's now called DID, which it was MPD. So what can happen then, and this is what Hamblin's daughters allege, is that it creates different parts, different personalities, different names, different personalities. So if it was to, well, let me back up. Okay, so the Hamblin daughters alleged that their father and mother would allegedly prostitute them out to sexually appease other members of the same ring. Okay, so he would say, I don't know, some kind of trigger word, and Tabitha. And so the personality of Tabitha would come out in the child and would be seductive or whatever. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to paint a picture here. So I also have video of David Hamblin recently on his own YouTube channel And they love to talk, though. That's a good thing in this sense because they really end up just implicating themselves, in my opinion. So, but okay. And so David Hamblin recently talked about SRA, which has been called satanic ritual abuse or ritualistic abuse, which is just really egregious and disgusting and abhorrent child abuse. Okay. It's basically what Ruby and Jody were doing. It's what ended up happening to Tylee and JJ, except that became ritual murder. And then this is occurring. Okay. So this is now real time. This isn't just a past thing. This isn't just oh, that's that satanic panic shit. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. Go research for yourself. I've been doing this for 6 years. This is, if it was a panic, a moral panic, I wouldn't be here. Okay. I would have, the information would have took me away from here, but it didn't. It brought me right dead center in the middle of it. Anyways, what I'm positing here is that David Hamblin can sit here and deny that he R-worded his daughters, but he says that I can't say that a part of me did not do it myself, like didn't do it. I can't say that a part of me didn't do it, but I didn't do it. Do you see what I don't know if I'm making enough sense. It's hard to explain, but does this parts theory, does it give them some kind of plausible deniability where they can say without a doubt, like Chad saying, I'm not a killer, I'm not a murderer, I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a cult leader or cult member, whatever the hell he said, but he can't say that maybe a part of him didn't do it. Do you understand? It's kind of like the new names, with the James and Elena and all these new names, all these different weird names. And so I don't know, just something I'm going to research further into because I don't know. It sounds wacky. I understand. Doesn't mean that they're not responsible. It just, what is causing this? Why are they saying this? And then how do they have a conscience? Which, I mean, that's out for debate, right? Do they have a conscience? Anyways, and do we look forward to more of these kinds of cases where I didn't do it? I can't say that, the multiple personalities inside me didn't do it. Anyways, I don't know. I regress. I digress, not regress. Let's see. All right.
I have recently been able to have a few in-person visits with several of my family members, and those have been wonderful. I will always be grateful for the unconditional love and support these family members have given me. When people find out that my relatives have visited me, they usually ask them, "How has he changed?" My relatives give the same response: "He hasn't changed. He's the same Chad we all."
Well, there you go. I mean, he hasn't changed. He's still a murderer, in my opinion.
Always knew. People are surprised by that answer after hearing a different story for so long. I am still the quiet, gentle person you all know.
That's that thing right there where I'm like, no, we all don't know that, Chad. You know who really doesn't know that? Or who really knows how you're a peacemaker, how you're not a peacemaker? How did I even get to it yet? He hasn't changed. He's the same Chad we always knew. People are surprised by that answer after hearing a different story for so long. I am still the quiet, gentle person you all know. That right there.
I am still the quiet, gentle person you all know.
I bet you if dead people could talk, I bet you Tammy, I bet that Tylee and JJ, and I still believe that that Chad had a hand in murdering my uncle. He may not have been there, but he was orchestrating it. Okay. About, the comments about, oh, was that before or after he had 2 bullets in his chest? That kind of shit, that kind of stuff. So you're lucky, in my opinion, that you have not been charged and convicted there too for the murder of my uncle. You already, like Chad already wanted what everybody else had, but just he was unwilling to work for it. And so he just coveted, Charles's wife. He coveted his family, and he coveted money, and benefiting. Well, would have benefited from the money that would have gone to Lori had my Uncle Charles not been smart. Thank God. I mean, in that sense, even though I wish he would have just told her, that, hey, you're not getting the money, because, that'd have been a big change of plans. I don't know. It really sucks, because he's just here to get gain. They're here to get gain. That's what they do. They don't want to work for it. They want what everybody else has, and they're entitled to it. They think they are. So, but he's not been a peacemaker. He has not been a gentle, quiet person. And no, we all don't know that. And so, again, I really question the logic and the motive behind the people who are supporting people like Chad Daybell, in my opinion.
People are surprised by that answer after hearing a different story for so long. I am still the quiet, gentle person you all know. I have always been a peacemaker, even now in prison. I have never caused anyone's death and never conspired to commit such acts against anyone. I share in your sadness, pain, and grief over the deaths of Tammy, Tali, and JJ. I don't have all the answers, even now, but I'm grateful a more complete story will be shared during my appeals process.
So let's look forward to this appeals process. Boy, I can't wait. That is with a lot of sarcasm. I don't have all the answers even now, but I'm grateful a more complete story will be shared during my appeals process. And he does not share in our sadness and the pain and the grief over the deaths of Tammy, Tylee, and JJ that were caused by him and his deplorable wife, okay? His current wife. They don't get to mourn, okay? They don't get to do this, but they do this. Lori says, I mourn with those of you who mourn my children, Joshua Jackson, that shit. No, you don't get to do that. They're such control freaks that they are now even trying to control their victims in the afterlife that they put them in. And then just be like, oh no, everybody, it's okay. It's okay. They have all the answers. They're the know all be all. And it stops there, because as long as Lori and Chad know where our loved ones are and whatever in the afterlife, it's okay. We shouldn't worry, because, there was no murder here. There was nothing. I'm not a murderer. I love my children. I'm like, what are we even looking at right now? Is so inverted. And yeah, I got to pull something else up. I just thought about it. Let me hush.
During my court trial, I followed my attorney's advice to sit quietly, not smile, and not show any emotion as evidence was presented. I know that is standard protocol for defendants in the courtroom, but I realize now that it made me appear to be cold and uncaring.
No, that's just you.
Which is the opposite of who I am.
I don't think so.
I assure you, my heart was breaking many times throughout.
This just reminded me of how, like, on KJ and the Ray, she would say sling blade. That's what I see. He is not. I would be terrified if Chad Daybell was outside of those prison walls. Terrified. Because they were still creating a list of people to take out. My mom was on the list. Adam, I think, was on that list. I think Zach was on that list. I think Barry might have been on that list. I don't know. We don't know. It's not opposite of who he is. But I realize now that it made me appear to be cold and uncaring. No, that's just you, boo. That's just you. It's the same guy that, let me pull it real quick. I have it pulled up. I just need to, yeah.
I'm Nate Eaton with EastIdahoNews.com in Kauai, where Chad and Lori Daybell were served with 2 search warrants just hours ago. Law enforcement officers from Eastern Idaho, along with federal agents and the Kauai Police Department, pulled Lori and Chad over. They were driving a black SUV. They pulled into this resort where I am standing. They put Chad into one vehicle, Lori into another. That's when their vehicle was seized, and they had no way to get home. We had a chance to ask them so many questions that need answers. Lori, Nate Eaton with East Idaho News. Can you tell me where your kids are? Where are your kids?
No comment.
No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
Nothing.
You're over here in Hawaii? Where are your children? Yeah, why don't you just give us a comment? Just tell us where they are. Chad, where are Lori's kids? What happened to Tammy, Chad? Can you tell us what happened to Tammy?
Oh, that face.
Why have you guys been in Hawaii for so long? Listen, just tell people what's happening. There's people around the country praying for your children, praying for you guys. Why don't you give us answers?
Saw that?
That's great. That's great that they're praying for you, praying for your kids. What? You have nothing to say? Did you do something to your children? Are your children still alive? That's a simple question. I've got 3 kids of my own. I can tell you every minute where my kids are at. Where are your children? What do you guys plan to do now? Are you you have 5 days to get your children in front of a judge in Rexburg, then what? Are you guys innocent of any crimes? Have you committed any crimes? Chad, you guys have a lot to say on your podcast. You don't have anything to say now? Lori? Do you believe that you were instructed by God or others to do something for your children? If you could give a message to them, what would you say? Listen, if you just talk to us, we'll leave you alone.
Family's worried. Tammy's family's very worried.
Tammy's family's very worried. Lori, your mother, Kay, came out. Kay and Larry, they're offering a $20,000 reward for your children. And you're over here on the beach? This is your chance to tell your story. Nothing you want to say? One last chance right here. Anything you want to say to the people in Idaho? Laura, you have a lot of cash there in your baggie. Were you guys planning to leave Hawaii? Were you planning to take off? And with that, Chad and Lori darted into this resort, and they still have not come out. Now, police have not said what they are searching for in that SUV or in their home. But one thing that was not found is Lori's children. JJ and Tylee are still missing. Tomorrow, we will have much more from Hawaii. For now, I'm Nate Eaton reporting for EastIdahoNews.com.
Okay, let me stop it. Okay, it's like a race, you know. Okay, I know it does sound like him, and all I did was take a sample of Chad Daybell reading the what do you call it? The patriarchal blessing that he gave Alex, you know, that was played in trial. And so it didn't read the transcript that it wants you to read, but I don't know. It's just the best I could do to a sample. Yeah. I know, huh? Nothing to say at all. And this is while 2 children were dead and buried in his backyard. I mean, you don't get to say nothing right now. You know, like your time has passed and he was found guilty in a court of law. Now I keep saying you, but that's kind of how I'm talking. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. There's actually, I'm working on this, A. Aguilar, where it kind of appeared on its own, you know, and I'm just like, wow, that really does sound incriminating against Alex, you know, just some things that were said between Lori and Chad. And I'm just like, it's interesting, the timing. So I don't know. It does sound like him. So I know it's offensive. He's offensive. But it gives you, it's chilling, and it should be like, this should not happen. You know, like he should not be given a pulpit, so to speak. I don't think. So let's start at this paragraph again.
During my court trial, I followed my attorney's advice to sit quietly, not smile, and not show any emotion as evidence was presented. I know that is standard protocol for defendants in the courtroom, but I realize now that it made me appear to be cold and uncaring. which is the opposite of who I am.
Absolutely.
I assure you, my heart was breaking many times throughout the trial. And there were moments I couldn't hold back the tears, especially as I saw and heard family members suffering the same feelings of anguish that I was experiencing. The key purpose of these letters is to share with you what I had hoped would have been explained in court. I will strive to make each letter informative and worth your time. I fully realize many people will never change their negative opinion of me. In this age of social media, podcasts, and the merging of the mainstream media with law enforcement, very few defendants are portrayed in a positive way. All I can hope for is that these letters can begin to generate feelings of healing, reconciliation, and understanding. Thanks again, my friends, for the many ways you have helped and inspired me throughout my life. Bookshelf. When I attended Springville Junior High in the early 1980s, I enrolled in a woodshop class. The instructor said we could build anything we wanted, so I decided to make a bookshelf. I designed it myself.
Oh, wow.
It was about 5 feet high with several shelves. I was pleased with how it turned out. And over the past 4 decades, that sturdy bookshelf has become our family's most enduring piece of furniture. Beds, sofas, tables, and recliners come and gone, but the bookshelf has made every move with us, and my son now has possession of it. Our family's favorite books have resided on those shelves throughout the years, and I'm eager to share the significance of those books in upcoming letters.
Yay.
One of the most important books I have ever read is Life Everlasting.
Dog whistle. Dog
by
whistle.
Dwayne S. Crowther. It was one of the first books placed on my new bookshelf.
Okay, I got to give y'all a little insight, I guess. So Girl on Fire, her father-in-law would be Dwayne Crowther. Okay. So this concerns me, as this would be a neighbor of Chad's that was asked to post bail money. Okay. Or asked if Lori and Chad could live in the basement too. So there's that part. So yeah, this to me is a dog whistle. Everlasting love. Or life everlasting. That's what mom texts me too. It's a dog whistle. She believes, and she's not done the research that I've done. So that was relieving, really, to hear her connect those things as a dog whistle to people who do support Chad. Okay. And I don't think that's a far stretch. So now he's doing a shout out, basically. But listen what this book is about.
One of the most important books I have ever read is Life Everlasting by Dwayne S. Crowther.
Yeah.
It was one of the first books placed on my new bookshelf. After I discovered the book as a teenager, the book examines eyewitness accounts of more than 200 individuals who have ventured into the spirit world.
Really?
And returned to tell their experiences.
So basically, I just got that. The book examines eyewitness accounts of more than 200 individuals who have ventured into the spirit world, which is capitalized, and returned to their experiences to tell their experiences. It is LDS themed, but the truths it contains apply to everyone, because this is what, in my opinion, the people who backed Chad and Lori. Okay, how do I say this? The people who backed Chad and Lori and who are about this mindset right here were the late Mormon apostle, Quorum of the 12 president, M. Russell Ballard. Like, he was doing, like he did with Tim Ballard's books, what Chad Daybell was doing with his own author's books, to try and appeal to a wider Christian audience, okay? Not just Mormon themed. So it was said that M. Russell Ballard took Tim Ballard's book, The American Covenant, and took all the LDS terms, like, it's a whole different language, I swear. I had never heard of Nephi and Lehi, and I've never heard of these characters before until this case. And I'm like, what? Who are these people? But it's so important on that note because I will be like Nephi, I am told, and so will you. That's one of the things that Lori texted her brother, Alex, right before the murder of my uncle. Okay. She said in her trial that it was just a endearing term, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not. We already did our research. Thank you. Sit down there, Jezebel. But it's just interesting how he says it's LDS theme, but the truths it contains apply to everyone. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, it's not just LDS. So it's okay. It's a wider Christian audience, he's trying to appeal to. But the whole eyewitness accounts of more than 200 individuals who have ventured into the spirit world and returned to tell their experiences, he's talking about himself because he says that he went to the spirit world twice, which we'll find out that it doubles to 4 times. Now he's had a near-death experience. So there's that, to me, he's just trying to normalize his delusions, basically.
The book examines eyewitness accounts of more than 200 individuals who have ventured into the spirit world and returned to tell their experiences. LDS theme.
Hear the noise?
The truths it contains apply to everyone. We'll be sharing quotes from it many times in upcoming letters. If you have any interest in where we came from before birth, why we are here on earth, and where we go after death, life ever.
He just named 3 different lifetimes, basically. So when they say that they don't believe in reincarnation or multiple lives, that is a lie, period. There's premortal, this life, afterlife. That's 3. Okay. So I don't know what they define theirs by, but in my opinion.
If you have any interest in where we came from before birth, why we are here on earth, and where we go after death, Life Everlasting provides those answers.
Oh, goody gumdrops.
The book was first published in the 1960s, but Dwayne released an excellent updated version in 2008 with 5 additional chapters.
Oh, yeah.
I would recommend that version.
That's interesting.
You can access it here.
Because, yeah. Hold on. Oh, there's those weird noises again. I don't know why I did that. But the whole thing about recommending this book to people that are going to be reading his letters from Chad, from prison, from the prison pulpit, is the same thing that Lori sang in her song, Hallelujah, which was eerie and creepy. And about, she mentioned, what is it? Eternal. Hold on. One of Chad's books. I can't remember right now, but, and also Chad did that in his priesthood blessing to Alex. It was a book that was mentioned that Chad wrote. Anyways, I think there's just more things, just like Visions of Glory. I left it in my room. Just like Visions of Glory, there are dog whistles contained within the writings for other like-minded individuals who are in this mindset to go and like suss out for themselves, and that's, I believe, why Lori was so strongly attached and, attracted to Visions of Glory. Same with Chad. I don't think it's the books and how they're riveting or anything. I think it's just this inverted people, okay, who go and find things and code talk. I don't know how to explain it. And I call it dog whistles. So go to this book. This book was first published in the 60s, but Dwayne released an excellent updated version. So read this one in 2008 with the 5 additional chapters. I would recommend that version. Well, thank you. Right? Don't know how I lived this far without it.
Musical notes.
Yeah.
All kinds of music. And in my upcoming letters, I will sometimes mention songs that have been the soundtrack to my life.
Oh, yay.
Rather than disrupting the flow of the letter by discussing a song's importance to me at that point, I will include these musical notes afterward to give added meaning and depth. Most of my memories are tied to specific songs that had an influence on me. However,
Yay.
during my first 3 years in the Fremont County Jail, I rarely heard music. It was a genuine hardship since my life had
So sad.
been immersed in music before my incarceration. Then a few months before my court trial began, the jail staff provided a portable radio I could listen to when
Thank
I
you,
was
jail
allowed
staff.
into the jail's ball court. The court was a concrete rectangle with 20-foot high walls that usually blocked the sun. Let's give you some fresh air.
Sorry.
Giant communication tower directly above the jail that interfered with the radio reception. 5. Certain spot.
Come on.
Ball court. Held the radio at a tilted angle. I could hear a few stations.
Now,
A country station.
just know that some of these stations he's naming are Frank Vandersloot stations. Anyways, I mean, I understand it's in that area, so they're going to be, right? But I'm just like, well, there you go. There's that.
An oldie station and a Christian station called Love
K-Love.
came in the best.
That's scary.
At first, I listened to the other two stations more often. But as I became more familiar with the K-Love songs and their emphasis on Jesus and uplifting topics, I came to rely on those songs to boost my morale. One song that stood out to me was I'm So Blessed by the group Cain. It has a catchy beat.
It has the most damning music group name, Cain. That's what Chad Daybell chose to write in letter 1. I'm so blessed by the group Cain. I'm just not going to say anything else. It's just like, what?
One song that stood out to me was I'm So Blessed by the group Cain. It has a catchy beat, and the lyrics include the phrase, on my best day, I'm a child of God. On my worst day, I'm a child of God. Those were definitely some of my worst days, but the song helped me remember that the Lord was with me at all times, especially when the going got tough. So if you're having a hard day, click on the link and hopefully the song helps lift your spirits. Cain, I'm so blessed. Follow.
So yeah, it includes links and everything. I'm not going to listen to the songs because I haven't had time or the want. Okay. So that's letter 1. And I don't really know where to go from here. Yeah, we're an hour into it. I don't know if y'all want to keep rolling with it. It's a lot to read, but I believe that in everything that is said, period, from anybody, whether it's 100% accurate or not, there is some truth in there. So that's my interest in this is I want answers. And I've had to dig and fight for answers. Anyways, so I don't know. It's up to you guys. Yeah, he lies a lot about Tammy. It's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and I'll continue. Well, I have to go to letter number 2. Let's see. Let me change my aspect here.
By Chad Daybell or September 1st, 2025. Her letters were 0 comments. This letter is devoted to Tammy. I loved her, and I still do. She was my life partner and the mother of our 5 amazing children. We built a...
Oh, and you killed her. You murdered her. You murdered her, dude. Okay? So she was my life partner and the mother of our 5 amazing children. You murdered her. And you were so okay with it, to get away with it, that you hurried up and had her interred that way. And you turned down having autopsies because all of a sudden, y'all just don't trust everything, that even Emma said in um, her testimony on the stand where they talk about, Tammy, her autopsy, and how Emma has sleep apnea. Let me try and pull that word up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know how to spell it. How about that? Let me try in the transcript here. Here we go. Let's listen to Emma. Michelle.
Since 2017.
When did your mom go to the doctor for a wrist?
In 2019. That's
Okay.
a 2-year gap.
You just answer the question. So when did your mom go for her wrist?
In 2019.
Her medical records say nothing about current anemia. Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Her medical records say nothing about sleep apnea, correct?
I don't know.
Would it surprise you that they don't say anything about sleep apnea?
No.
Okay. Come on.
Talked about your mom going to bed early. Again, what time did you say she'd go to bed?
It varied depending on the day, but 5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Were you over at the residence when she'd go to bed?
Usually,
Would you go in and visit with her?
if she was awake.
Would you go watch her while she was in bed?
No.
Why
So
not?
you don't know what she did when she went to bed. Fair to say?
Fair.
So you don't know what she would do with the Fitbit when she went to bed, right?
I watched her do it several times.
Several times. You didn't watch her nightly go to bed.
I did not.
You say your mom went to bed that early, 6, 7 at the latest. Is that your recollection?
On some nights, she probably stayed up later.
How much later?
I don't know.
She gotta make it
Because
up.
you weren't there, right?
Correct.
So surprise you to learn that on October 18th, there was activity on her phone at 10:22 p.m.
No.
And I would love to see it because there was I want to say a picture taken or something along those lines. I remember hearing that. I just don't know exactly where I heard it. And I would love to know what that was of.
That's a lot later than 7.
She had been sick that night. I stay up later when I'm sick and have just thrown up as well.
Were you there
Whatever.
that night?
No.
Did you see her throw up?
No.
So you don't know.
Nope.
You only know what you were told.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Just reminding ourselves about
You were asked about this book fair.
this.
You talked about your mom carrying a heavy box. Do you recall that?
Yes.
But your mom was carrying the box, right?
Yes.
So she was able to carry a box,
Barely.
but she was doing it,
Did it.
correct?
Yes.
You were asked about who drives the Dodge Dakota. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
Any reason why your husband would have referred to the truck keys as your mother's?
They had 2 sets, and the set that my husband used was my mom's.
She has an answer
Any
for
reason why he would have to get those keys from your mom?
Yes.
Why was that?
He wanted to borrow the truck to work potato harvest, and she was the closest of my 2 parents to him.
So they both had keys to it.
Yes.
Both access it.
Yes.
Both could drive it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That drove me nuts when she did it. Yes.
You talked about your mom playing on the Wii. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And what kind of game was that again?
An exercise game.
Did you see her do that a lot?
In 2018 and earlier.
Was that something that she enjoyed?
Yes.
Fair to say your mom enjoyed physical activity?
She enjoyed video games.
And when you say video games, some of them, you described the Wii. Were there other types of video games your mom liked?
Yes.
And what were those?
Farming simulations, Pokemon.
Would she play those on her phone? Do you know?
Yes, and other handheld devices.
And then she liked to
Handheld.
play the Wii as well.
Periodically.
And she took
Okay.
self-defense classes.
Not formal classes. It was with our church.
But
Didn't matter.
was that a voluntary thing?
Yes.
So she wanted to go do that.
Yes.
And that's physical activity.
Yes.
She wanted to participate in Zumba, correct?
Yes.
She wanted to do clogging.
Yes.
She was training for a 5K.
No.
You say she wasn't training for a 5K.
She was not training for a 5K.
Would it surprise you that other people said she was?
No,
We talked earlier a little bit. You weren't privy to all your mom and dad's communications, right?
no,
You weren't privy to all your mom's conversations that she'd have with people, correct?
correct.
So at school, she may have conversations when you weren't around, right?
Yes,
She may tell people things that you have no idea she told them, right?
yes,
Hostile.
And council talked to you about an insurance policy that was increased. Do you recall that?
yes,
And you said your mom did that on her own.
yes.
Why was your dad's signature on the application?
I think she took out insurance on him.
No.
Your Honor, may I be handed State's Exhibit 151?
And here's the
Yes.
receipt. So it seems like just because Chad and Tammy's children cannot get over evidence, like they can't reckon with it, they can't reconcile that their dad is a murderer. It's like they're on board to humanize him and to get public sympathy, and rewrite history, basically rebrand. It is Operation Rebrand, in my opinion. This is par for the course with these people. It's what they do. It's what the church does. I've seen it. I've researched all these things specifically, and it's interesting how they do this and how many people are deceived because we don't have that much brain capacity anymore. Everything's so fast, so quick. And to me, it's like that history fades away into oblivion. And then it's like they're able to re-victimize so many more people because of this tactic. Yeah, I don't know. And what happens if someone on the parole board, or not parole board, but for his appeals, what if it's played, like, what if the plan works and they can sway that person to whatever, overturn the damn death penalty, which, Jason mentioned to me. He was like, and he has said this to me before, like, he said he's going to roll on Lori. And I'm like, oh, why? What would be the point? He said to get death penalty off of him. And I'm like, well, it would behoove him to do that, whatever. But it's really late. And they're gamblers for sure, because they play. They don't sit there and save taxpayer money. They don't do all that. They're okay with living in that area of reasonable, of just playing the die, rolling the dice to see, and then being surprised when it comes back guilty. And it's exactly what they've always said. But now with 2 more NDEs, exactly. The only weight Tammy needed to lose was, 250 pounds, called Chad. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lot of us agree with that. But that's another thing, that this near-death experience, I've done research into this too. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because it was really interesting. If you don't mind, hang in for a second. All right, let me search it real quick. Okay, got it. Yay. So what I did was, let me make sure y'all can see it. Yeah. What I did was, I'm like, there are several potential reasons why someone might present remote viewing or astral projection as a near-death experience, NDE. As an NDE carries a different kind of cultural and psychological weight for many people. And this kind of all goes back to, whenever I did talk to the psychic lady who's covered this case. And she said that whenever you say it was a dream, people believe you. But when you say it's a vision, they're like, nah. Okay. So it kind of goes to the same kind of thought process there. So, number 1, it says authority and legitimacy. A near-death experience is often seen as a personal, profound, and unsolicited event that happens to someone. It is typically viewed as a genuine, divinely granted glimpse into the afterlife. This can give the person sharing the experience an air of authority and legitimacy as a recipient of spiritual truth. Boom. I know you don't know. I had an experience, a near-death experience, and so I know more than you. They're the authority on this. But I've never seen papers produced where the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, we called death. Time of death was," and then he came back. No, none of that. It's just basically a belly flop turned into a near-death experience for Chad Daybell. Okay, so that's what we're talking here. It says, in contrast, remote viewing and astral projection are often presented as skills or practices that can be learned or taught. By whom? Tom Harrison? Oh, yes. Yes, by Tom Harrison, allegedly. Be nice if he would talk. While some may see them as spiritual, they can also be associated with pseudoscience or parapsychology or New Age movements, which may be viewed with more skepticism by some religious communities. Boom. Number 2, it's spiritual credibility and prophetic status. In many religious contexts, a near-death experience can be interpreted as a divine anointing or a sign that the person has been chosen for a special purpose. This can elevate their status within a community, and lend credibility to any prophecies or warnings they may share about future events. It frames the experience as a form of divine revelation rather than a practiced psychic ability. This can be particularly powerful for those who believe in apocalyptic or last days prophecies. You heard that. This can be particularly powerful for those who believe in Latter-day Saints. And not just that, I'm just said that. But I mean, it's in the name, Latter-day Saints. Okay. For those who believe in apocalyptic or last days prophecies. As the individual can be seen as a modern day prophet or seer, a status that is not typically granted to those who simply practice remote viewing. I was comparing the methods, or the experience, what it means. Anyway, so number 3, avoiding scrutiny of the method. So presenting an experience as a near-death experience avoids questioning about how the quote-unquote gift was acquired. A near-death experience is presented as something that simply happened to the individual, rather than a skill they actively pursued or learned. By Tom Harrison, allegedly. This can deflect potential criticism or scrutiny about the origin of the knowledge, particularly if the methods used, like remote viewing, are considered outside the bounds of a person's religious or cultural norms. It also shifts the focus from the process to the content of the experience itself. Number 4, last one. It says emotional and narrative impact. Near-death experiences often follow a specific narrative arc, a traumatic event, an out-of-body sensation, a journey to a heavenly or spiritual realm, spirit world, and a return with a new purpose or message. This or money, I would say, and or money making opportunities. This narrative is well known and can be emotionally compelling for an audience. It can create a powerful, relatable story of personal transformation. Remote viewing, while potentially interesting, may not carry the same kind of emotional or spiritual gravitas as a story of dying and being brought back to life, which is what is usually constitutes a near-death experience, like actually dying. Not jumping off of a 60-foot cliff and doing a bad belly flop like Chad Daybell did. I would love to know what his 2 new near-death experiences entail. I don't know if he got into it with fellow inmates. It would be nice. Anyways, in short, near-death experience is often a more socially and spiritually acceptable way of describing a similar out-of-body or psychic experience, particularly within a religious or conservative context. Well, there you go. It positions the individual as a blessed messenger rather than a psychic practitioner, which can be much more effective way to gain followers and sell books. This video examines the metaphysics of near-death. Okay, yeah, so that's this video. But anyways, I'm glad. I wanted to share that with you guys. That needed to go right there. So let's get back to this. Back to letter number 2.
Tammy had increasingly severe health issues in the final months of her life, but very few people knew about them. She was an intensely private person who rarely shared personal details with others, much less that her health was suffering. She would put on a brave smile in public and act as if nothing was bothering her. But even those of us who knew about her health struggles never expected her to pass away so suddenly.
He had been predicting Tammy's death for years. She wasn't going to make it past 50, or she was going to die before he turned, whatever it was. It was some kind of evil combination like that. He was predicting her death many, many years before Lori and Chad united. But right here when he says, but even those of us who knew about her health struggles, I mean, is he talking about Emma Lou here? I mean, because she's the only other person that backed her dad like that, really. And then, I mean, let's look at this one too. This was Jason McKay, a Beglin, Garth Daybell's colleague, testifies in Chad Daybell's trial. This is a rebuttal witness to all of what Chad Daybell's defense was bringing. Let's listen to it real quick.
Before we begin with direct examination, I'll just inquire, Mr. Beglin, have you listened to any other way observed about anything, Blake? You can inquire.
Spell it for the record.
Jason McKay Abeglin. That's JASON
That's true.
ABEGGLEN.
And do you go by McKay?
Yes.
LaJoya or LaJoya?
Mr. Beglin, do you know
Code?
an individual named Garth Daybell?
Yes, I do.
How do you know him?
We worked together at a haunted attraction called the Haunted Mill.
And where's the Haunted Mill located?
It's in Teton, Idaho.
And when you say Teton, Idaho, is that the city of Teton?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately when you worked there with Garth?
I
There you
started
go.
working there, I think, in 2016, and we had worked together for quite a few years.
Thank you.
But I worked like right next to him the year of 2019. We worked, really close.
And when you say you worked right next to him, can you explain a little bit what you mean by that?
He was just one room over from mine. And so if it
Roger
was
here.
slower, we could like
Roger.
talk to each other and stuff. So.
And with the Haunted Mill, typically how long is that open? Is it a seasonal attraction?
Yep, it's open for roughly the month of October.
And so in October of 2019, you were working in close proximity to Garth.
Yes.
At some point, did you and Garth develop a friendship?
Yeah, we did.
Did you sometimes hang out outside of work?
We went to a few haunted houses together after the season had ended, yeah.
Did you hang out when you were at work and associate with each other?
Yes.
Did Garth generally talk to you about any issues within his family?
Nope.
Do you recall an occasion when he did share something with you about some family issues?
He told me it was the following weekend after his mom's passing. He talked about that.
What do you recall him telling you about that?
I remember he said that he found her when he got home from work, and he didn't know where his father was. And I don't remember if he said that she was in the bed or next to the bed, but she said she was kind of pale and her lips were blue.
This was damning.
On a typical night, when would work end at the Haunted Mill?
We usually left work around 12:30ish. Depending on how busy it was, we would go later. So some nights we'd go until like 1 or 1:30. But
and your understanding from what Garth told you was when he got home, he found his mother.
Yeah.
And at that time, her lips were blue and she was pale.
Yes.
And that he did not know where his father was.
Correct.
I have no further questions.
I wouldn't either. That's pretty damning there, dude. Just saying, Chuddy. Just saying. Okay, so let's pull this up because he's about to cross this traverse here. So this is Chad while the prosecutor plays the 911 call. Yeah. You can barely hear it. Might help if I turn it up.
Okay, can I get your name?
Chad Daybell. Oh, man. Oh.
Okay, Chad, I'm going to get somebody out to you right now. Okay?
Yeah, the corner where the blinking yellow light is with the red house.
He sounds
Yes, sir.
constipated.
Red house on the corner,
Yes,
blinking yellow light.
right.
Okay. We'll get somebody out to you,
Look
okay?
at
I'm
him,
so
he's crying.
sorry.
Okay.
If you need anything else, to call me back, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm all alone. There's no one beside me.
Ma'am, to the best of your recollection, was that particular phone call related to your response to Tammy?
I can't
Daybell?
hear it.
Yes.
Prior to responding to this.
He's
and
holding
before
himself.
that, to the best you recall, what time of day was it that you were responding?
It was approximately 6 a.m.
And was it light outside yet?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Prior to your response that morning, approximately
Anyways, oh wait,
how
let's
many
listen.
times had you personally been involved with responding to an unattended death?
Probably 5 to 10.
This is just disgusting.
And when you did, in fact, arrive, what was the first thing?
Just know that Chad, or never forget that Chad had Tammy interred so fast. And it was shocking to family members, you know, extended family members, as to how fast Chad was pushing for this to be done. And he was on the phone texting with his Jezebel concubine, Lori Vallow, while she was in Hawaii, you know, to give her a cover, because if she's not there, then, you know, she didn't murder Tammy. Just saying. But they were talking and he was like, I'm sad, but not for the reason that people think. And I can't wait. And da 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 da, just all the things. Okay. So he couldn't wait. There was also a text I remember where Chad was saying, it's just not that easy to push a spirit out of a body. And I remember thinking, like, that is so, whatever that means, you know, okay. He was trying to do it. And he was frustrated because it's not that easy to push Tammy's spirit out of her body. Why would you want to push someone's spirit? I'm just thinking, even just trying to think of that logic, you know, like, what does that mean if someone's trying to push your spirit out of your body and not inside your body? You know, like, why would you want them to be separated? That to me would mean something nefarious, you know? So anyways, he's disgusting. So this is just a reminder, right?
But even those of us who knew about her health struggles never expected her to pass away so suddenly. And her death has somewhat overshadowed the remarkable woman she was. I want you to get to know the living, vibrant, beautiful Tammy, who blessed so many people with her talents and unique traits.
He had that. He had all this opportunity and he wrote what he wrote. He said what he said. And I mean, I bet he misses her like crazy. And I hope like hell he does. And for anybody who goes to Web Sleuth, the other night, Trisha showed a picture of her in the background of like a photobomb type picture. And she was standing way back. And it just kind of looks like she's a lurker, you know, and she's like, caption this photo. And it was with what's his name? Oh my God, Joseph Scott Morgan, taking a photo with, I want to say, 2 other women at CrimeCon. And I was like, that's Lori when she finds out about these letters. That's basically what I pictured. You know, that's just looking real, you know. Anyways, I just thought that came to mind. It for those of you who watch Web Sleuth, you'll get it, hopefully.
She was strong, yet so delicate. We were united in our parenting.
Efforts, our religious beliefs.
Our religious beliefs, and the publishing company we operated together for 15 years. She radiated goodness and charisma, generating a positive impact on everyone around her. She was very kind and loving, but especially to children and animals.
Not you,
She was always on the lookout for the underdog who might need a boost in life. Tammy and I got married in our youth. I was 21 and she was 19. And over the years, we essentially became one. We didn't officially meet until after I returned home from a 2-year LDS church
Just
mission
talk about him.
to northern
himself.
New Jersey. I arrived back in my hometown of Springville, Utah
You hear the wind?
in July 1989. And a few days later, I saw my brother's 1988 high school yearbook on his shelf. I flipped it open and saw a student spotlight about a girl named Tammy Douglas. As I looked at her face, I felt a jolt of electricity pass through me. This
said that about
beautiful
Lori,
girl
too.
with a dazzling smile had my attention. I realized she would have been a sophomore when I was a senior, but I couldn't remember her. I wondered how I could find out more about her. I asked my brother if he knew her, and he said she was working that summer for Springville City. I was in luck.
Oh, hold on. Hold that note. Okay, so I just have found a clip from Court TV that actually plays some of their text messages. So hold on.
I feel she will be gone by then. I believe that's why the Lord hinted I might not get to be with you until that is over.
It's coming.
Good morning, my most beautiful Lily. Thanks for joining me in the shower this morning. Wow! I love you so immensely that the whole universe knows it, and very soon the people on this little blue globe will know it.
We know it.
I love you so much. You are my greatest desire and my friend. Now on with the story. They would both attend the same event in mid-November, and it seemed like that day would never arrive. Each day they opened their hearts to each other a little more. James knew he could trust her with the mysteries of the universe that had been revealed to him. He knew that they had been married before, and they had been close friends with the Savior when he lived in Jerusalem. James had served in an important position in the Lord's church, and Elena had been his beloved spouse and best friend. That relationship was now meant to continue in this lifetime. I need so badly to just gently kiss you for hours. It would likely lead to other activities.
Likely or luckily?
It would luckily lead to nakedness.
Horse bag now.
These things are steamy, right?
No, they're disgusting, dude. You can say it. We won't hold it against you. Let's go to here. Oop. Oh, crap. I just changed the whole damn thing. Oh, talk about fat finger syndrome. Okay.
Early on in the relationship, this is Chad's story about James and Elena,
Oh, it looks bad.
who was really a story about Chad and Lori. Let's listen.
They would both attend the same event in mid-November, and it seemed like that day would never arrive. He knew they had been married before, and they had been close friends with the Savior when he lived in Jerusalem. That relationship was now meant to continue in this lifetime. They hungered for each other, and he leaned forward and fulfilled a promise he had made to her a few days earlier. He gently kissed her tender lips, and the same heavenly electricity filled his entire body. The passionate magic they had felt many centuries earlier came surging back powerfully. James moved to the couch, and Elena straddled him effortlessly, as if they had done this thousands of times before. She fit perfectly on him, and they pressed their loins tightly against each other. They were still fully clothed, but the intensity of the intimacy was undeniable.
But were they fully clothed? Let's bring back in Dr. Carol Lieberman and Caitlin Becker.
Okay, so yeah, I forgot, y'all. I should have where's it at? Oh, down here. I should have played this. I need a trigger warning for this.
Hey guys, trigger warning for what we're about to show you.
Okay, you're welcome. I know. It's so distasteful. But it's also goes into the hypocrisy and what these people do. Okay, I'm trying to find my way back to the letters. Letters. So let's keep on, because all this is gonna I'm just reminding everybody what was exchanged between Lori and Chad, what all went on, the attitudes and behaviors that Chad had, that they both had, but we're talking about Chad, and how he's trying to rewrite history. What was testified to in court also.
Tammy later told me she had been keeping an eye on me since her sophomore year when I was on the student council. She had watched me perform in the crazy skits we did during the school assembly.
No. No.
And had also kept track of me in the school halls. When I was on my mission, she had even told her friends, I'm going to date Chad Daybell when he gets home. I attended a church activity about a week after the yearbook experience, and I spotted Tammy immediately when I entered the room.
Thanks, Gia.
She was playing volleyball, so I joined the other team.
We heard
Soon
this
we
story.
rotated and found ourselves 5 feet apart, staring through the net at each other. After a moment, she said, I'm going to spike it in your face. I smiled, but the only response I could come up with was, oh yeah? Very eloquent, I know. But in reality, she had left me tongue-tied. Tammy's eyes seemed to sparkle, and I was delighted that this petite, dynamic woman was clearly spunky as well. I
Petite,
was
dynamic.
smitten. When I got home, I couldn't get her out of my mind.
When he says right here, he's still fat shaming her. Thank you, babe. Oh. Yay. He was still, thank you, babe. He's still fat shaming her because I mean, like right here, she has to be, he says right here, Tammy's eyes seem to sparkle. I would say that's they would continue to, they'd be sparkling today had you and Alex and Lori not intervened in Tammy's life, altering plans. Okay. So yeah. And I was delighted that this petite dynamic woman was clearly spunky as well, meaning, I don't know, I was smitten. Well, until you weren't.
When I got home, I couldn't get her out of my mind. So I called her and asked her on a date. I was very relieved and excited when she accepted. Her parents later told me Tammy had happily danced around the living room after she hung up the phone.
Well, he just corroborated his in-law story because whenever Tammy went to Utah to visit her parents alone, usually Chad would go with her. This time he didn't, for nefarious reasons. I'm sure. I just don't know exactly what was happening that exact time. It was leading up to the death of, or to the murder of Tylee. It was October. No, it was after Tylee and JJ's deaths. After the shot at Brandon was taken on October 2nd, it was October 4th or 5th whenever Tammy went to visit her parents and her sister, her siblings, and they said that she was dancing in the living room there. So that's kind of what's going on. Tammy had happily danced around the living room, something Tammy did, sounds like. But basically they were saying it, that Tammy's parents and family was saying it to the rebuttal of what Chad and his kids were saying, by saying Tammy was just so deathly sick. She was suffering from menopause symptoms and whatever else, I forget, a bad cough or something, I don't know. And so I'm like, oh shit, watch out, menopause murder. I don't know, just sounds convenient for Chad. All right.
Our first date went great, and we became inseparable right from the start. We were both attending BYU Provo that fall and working part-time, but we spent every spare moment together.
That sounds right.
We became engaged to be married the night before Thanksgiving. I had been thrilled to discover Tammy loved music as much as I did, including some alternative bands such as Oingo Boingo and Depeche Mode. We loved to blast their songs in the car and sing loudly along.
Normal.
As Christmas approached, I told Tammy I had gotten her a gift she would love.
Oh, my first ex-husband did this. Not exactly, but similar. And it was really immature, is what I'm thinking. Anyways.
Discovered she was a bit of a prankster, and I had become her new favorite target. So I decided to give her a little payback. I'd been given a pair of really nice writing pens in the small rectangular box. On Christmas Day, I handed her the wrap box, and she eagerly...
Death by menopause, right? Yes, I love y'all's snark. This is Snark Week. Okay, bring it on.
He opened it. I kept a straight face as she pretended to be happy about the 2 pens. I said, I thought you could use them at work. They're really nice. She nodded and said, thank you. I love them. She started to put the box
She was
aside
polite.
when I said, maybe you should look underneath the pens. She removed the pens to find 2 front row tickets to an upcoming Oingo Boingo concert. She let out a relieved laugh.
I've never heard of Oingo
Then
Boingo.
bowled me over, showering me with hugs and kisses. We were married in the LDS Temple in Manti, Utah in March 1990, just over 7 months after we met. We held our wedding reception that evening in the Springville Art Museum.
Oof.
Seemingly half the town showed up to congratulate us. Tammy was a lovely bride, and I felt like the luckiest man on earth. We rented an apartment in Springville, and we really loved being newlyweds. I had a full scholarship to BYU and worked part-time, and Tammy accepted a full-time secretarial position with Springville City that paid quite well. So we felt rich. We loved to eat at several favorite restaurants, go to movies, and just be together. We had a fabulous time at the Oingo Boingo concert. In those first couple of years of marriage, we attended several others, including a very crazy B-52s concert, where we danced the night away. Going to concerts continued throughout our marriage, and we would take our kids along as they got older. Loved
That's
to
so
hold
weird.
family dance parties with our kids in the front room, even after moving to Idaho.
There it is again.
Even now, the children tell me they'll get in the car and certain obscure but meaningful songs will often be on the radio. And it feels like Tammy is saying she's nearby. Maybe those songs on the radio are just a coincidence. But either way, it reminds our children of their wonderful mother and the fun we had as a family.
And you took it all away, Chad. You, Lori, Alex, and all your other co-conspirators, in my opinion, and by 12 people, 12 members of the jury, of your peers, said you took that away. You're guilty of it. Oh, but also, it's normal. The children tell me that this is normal, y'all. I mean, there's many times I've gotten into my car, heard a song that reminds me of my loved ones who have passed away. I mean, it's normal. And so why he's doing this is weird.
Was grateful for Tammy's complete faith and trust in God. In early 2004, I felt we should start our own book publishing company. I knew it would be a challenge, but I sensed it would be very successful. I told Tammy my feelings, and although she was apprehensive about the idea, she agreed to pray about it. In response, she said she received the strongest spiritual confirmation of her life and that we should move forward with it.
What? Okay, hold on. So they started. Okay, I thought it was talking about the move to Rexburg. All right, my bad.
Formed Spring Creek Book Company the following month, and by the end of 2004, we had published 24 books by several talented authors. We sold our books in hundreds of stores across the United States, including Borders and Barnes & Noble. We published several bestsellers, and over the years, we produced more than 100 books by 55 different authors. We won several awards from bookseller organizations, and Tammy deserved the credit. She was the backbone of the company, and she made great things happen through her promotional ideas and internet marketing. Tammy's mom, Phyllis, joined the company as our lead salesperson, and the two of them were a dynamic duo in selling books. I will stop here, but in the next letter, I will discuss our family's move to Idaho in 2015.
I just want to do a shout out to my mods, okay, because they made this a long time ago. So there's that. Anyways, hopefully it showed y'all. Yep, it did. Okay, back to the damn letter.
Bookshelf. One of my duties as the editor-in-chief of Spring Creek Book Company was to sort through the many manuscript submissions we would receive.
Aww.
On the company website Tammy had designed, she had created a section on how authors should format their manuscript and the types of topics our company was looking for. As our success grew, we were receiving dozens of manuscripts each month. There were a lot of aspiring authors out there. However, we only had a few openings each year since many of our authors were writing additional books. But I still looked at each submission just to make sure we weren't missing a diamond waiting to be discovered. I would take the most promising ones home for Tammy to read through, and this team effort worked well in maintaining a high level of quality in our books. It was hard to send rejection letters to those authors we didn't select, but I tried to recommend other publishers who might be a better fit for their books. One day I opened a manila envelope and pulled out a manuscript that immediately caught my eye. It told the story of Willard and Rebecca Bean, who were asked by LDS Church President Joseph F. Smith in the early 1900s to serve a mission in Palmyra, New York, the birthplace of Mormonism.
Okay, on that note, this reminded me of April Bean Raymond. Just throwing that in there, and how they thought, Lori and Chad thought that April, because of her stature, I guess you could say, in the Mormon pioneer stock, you know, that thing that's going on over there in the Mormon culture, where they're seeking out the elites, basically the elite bloodlines to, in my opinion, what it appears is to marry them up, whether they're married to other people or not. Okay. Polygamy. It's modern day polygamy, basically. I know they say they disavowed it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And I mean, they didn't stop it when they were supposed to stop it. And then they're like, oh, publicly we stop it, you know, because they had to, in order for the church, in order for Utah to become part of the United States of America, they had to disavow polygamy. And so they said they did. But I don't believe that they did. I think they were forced into saying it publicly, but practicing it, that's a whole different ballgame. I believe. And I believe that is the crux of what created Lori and Chad. Like, that's what brought them together. And then, like, affirmed all of their beliefs, and the rest is history, basically. Unfortunate history. But April Bean Raymond, and so I'm like, I wonder if she's related. But the other thing I want to tell you about with this is, where is it at? I had it pulled up, but then let's see. Hold on, I'm looking for it. I thought I had it pulled up. No. Okay, hold on. The book that he's talking about, which is, hold on. Let me get I think I'm a little early here. Yeah, I am. The manuscript, written by Rand Packer, was powerful and inspirational. I couldn't put it down. It was one of those rare moments as a publisher when you feel, quote, whoa, this is great. I need to sign this book immediately, unquote. The book title is A Lion and a Lamb, referencing Willard as the bold, sometimes brash lion, and with Rebecca as the wise, sweet lamb who won over the townspeople with her kindness. Sounds like Chad is trying to implement himself into this and saying, like, him and Tammy or him and Lori. I don't know. It just crossed my mind. But the other significant thing about A Lion and the Lamb was that when Lori was extradited from Idaho to Arizona, a FOIA request did reveal that Lori ordered 3 books, one of them being Visions of Glory. Shocker, I know. Another one of those books was about witches. It was a Deborah something. I don't remember the name. And the third book out of all 3 books, right, was A Lion and the Lamb by Rand Packer. And I was like, oh my God. So do I think these are dog whistles? 100%, 144%. I do. Anyways, so there's a little history on that.
The problem the Beans faced was that the church members had left Palmyra many years before, and the townspeople certainly didn't want them to return. But the Beans moved to Palmyra, endured initial persecution, and slowly began mending fences, literally and figuratively. Over time, they helped turn around the negative feelings there, purchased historic locations for the church, and finally concluded their mission more than 2 decades later.
Rebranding.
The manuscript, written by Rand Packer, was powerful and inspirational. Couldn't put it down. It was one of those rare moments as a publisher when you feel, whoa, this is great. I need to sign this book immediately. The book's title is A Lion and a Lamb, referencing Willard as...
Hold on. While I have this pulled up. There's the announcement to Chad and Tammy's engagement. So I'm going to read it real quick. Tamara Douglas, Chad Daybell to trade vows Friday. Announcement is made by Mr. and Mrs. Ronald M. Douglas of Springville of the engagement of their daughter Tamara to Mr. Chad Daybell, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jack L. Daybell of Springville. The couple plans to be married on Friday, March 9th, 1990. This is when they still had the temple blood oath or whatever that oath was, of slitting the neck and disemboweling yourself. That was still in the temple. Just saying. The couple plans to be married Friday, March 9th, 1990 in the whatever, however you say it, LDS Temple. A reception will be held that same day from 7 to 9 at the Springville Museum of Art, which Chad said. The bride-to-be graduated from Springville High School, where she was the editor of the yearbook and secretary of the National Honor Society. She was in the SHS marching band, Springville High School, I guess, and went to Washington, D.C. with that group. She is currently attending Brigham Young University, majoring in advertising. That's probably, she was a handy asset to Spring Creek Book Publishing. She is employed in Springville. The prospective groom is a pile of dog doo. No, it doesn't say that. It should, though. The prospective groom graduated from Springville High School, where he served as treasurer of the student council. He was vice president of the National Honor Society and Sterling Scholar in English. He served an LDS mission in New Jersey, Spanish-speaking areas. He is also attending BYU and is majoring in communications. He is employed in Springville. The newlyweds will make their home in Springville. So I just wanted to share that. I want to say Chad Daybell proposed to Tammy in the cemetery. And I just thought, oh, hello. Yeah. Did you know Tim Ballard, OUR's Rexburg Rescue Run on September 7th, 2019 was a sponsored event by Spring Creek Book Publishing Company owned by Chad and Tammy Daybell? Did you know that? That's the weekend that Tylee was murdered. Just one of them things. I didn't plan on doing that, but it was there, and so I took the opportunity. Okay. Not everybody knows that because it kind of trickled out of the testimony in Chad Daybell's trial.
Bold, sometimes brash lion, with Rebecca as the wise, sweet lamb who won over the townspeople with her kindness. I took the manuscript home for Tammy to read, and she was enthusiastic about it. We both knew it would be a bestseller. I contacted Rand the next day.
Did it get slower?
And when we met, there was an instant connection, like meeting a dear friend. We signed a publishing contract and put the book into production. The initial sales were strong, but then it just kept selling year after year, especially in the LDS bookstore in Palmyra itself. Word of mouth was strong, and rightly so, because it is a genuinely great story of faith and perseverance. During this same time frame, the accomplishment.
This is where I was like, oh shit, this is that thing. And so here we go with the last names of Christensen, and here we go with the movie making in the LDS film industry, and I'm freaking out, okay? Because in every one of these other cases that I've researched into, even Tim Ballard, even Jason Mao. Okay. There's this film crew, this filming, making movies aspect of it. And it creeps me the hell out. Okay. Also, when we get down to here where it says, it has the all the elements of drama, humor, and heartfelt emotion that are trademarks of all of TC's films. Quote, "The Fighting Preacher," unquote, had a long run in theaters, a rarity for LDS films, and is now available on streaming services. Okay? Just so you know. And so here's the just Google search of that. And it says, I don't know if there's like a preview or something. Let me look. Well, look, I'm going to copy this link right here. I'm going to put it in the chat because you can go watch it for yourself after we finish, hopefully. Okay. Let me type The Fighting Preacher. So this was something Chad Spring Creek Book Company was part of. Unfortunately, I would like to shout that from the rooftops, because if this is an LDS film and they went to the movie, whatever you call it, premiere in July of 2019, Chad Daybell was also orchestrating and planning with Lori and Lori and Alex and others to murder my uncle. That was the first domino. Well, I believe Joe was the first domino, but in this story, or in this whatever, I don't know, but he was behind it. And he also did a podcast with a fellow friend of his, Paul Pulsifer, on July 9th, 2019. Chad Daybell did a podcast on patience, and it was super creepy. And I don't know, but this is as, you know, plans are coming together to murder Charles Vallow, my uncle. Okay. And this is also when, I mean, they're sealed at this point now since November of 2018. And then immediately, unless we can find somewhere where they met sooner, because it's really odd that they just meet and then start plotting the murders of their family members. I'll never understand it. I don't get it. Here's a trailer. Hopefully we won't get got.
Ladies and gentlemen, will it be?
I'm extending a call to you and Rebecca to serve as missionaries for the Joseph Smith farm. Now, this has been a hostile area for us.
We heard you was coming.
Listen, we can do this.
I'll give it everything I have.
It is the feeling of all who live here that you are to leave Palmyra.
Good day. We're missionaries for the Mormon Church. I know who you are, Mrs. Bean.
Go back to Utah where you belong.
Maybe it's time to do what you do best.
Come on!
Put out a challenge.
Just because you're a good fighter doesn't make you a good man.
Nobody likes me.
Sweetheart, are they still being mean to you at school? I will show you a left hook that will teach them a thing or two.
Willard!
Oh.
Maybe sometimes the best way to fight isn't with
all that you do.
Okie doke. All right, so there's that. That's the Fighting Preacher official trailer. That was director TC Christensen Films. That's who we just shared it from. Willard and Rebecca Bean accept a mission call to serve in Palmyra, New York, the first missionaries to return since the saints left. So my question is, why did they have to like go and remake history to get people, like basically to get the locals to like them? I mean, as far as I know, they ran, like Joseph Smith was ran out of there. Okay. Like that everywhere he went, they were run out of there. So it's like, don't be shitty to people. Okay. That's the moral of the story, in my opinion, is don't be shitty to people and don't act like it's a persecution of your faith when it's not that. It's your character. Okay. That's just my 2 cents for what it's worth. And so it says they use all their assets, boxing, service, love, and tenacity to accomplish amazing things while living in the Joseph Smith family home. Well, okay, whatever. But so Chad Daybell is basically talking about this as if he's the creator of this book and this movie script. Okay. That's kind of where I'm at. Let's get back to this though, because he'll explain it.
During this same time frame, the accomplished LDS filmmaker T.C. Christensen had released several successful high-quality movies, and he was interested in producing one based on a lion and a lamb. The film's title would be The Fighting Preacher, after Willard Bean's tendency to use his fists as well as his tongue to preach the good word. A film deal was reached, and in July 2019, the movie had its world premiere in Salt Lake City. Tammy and I were invited as guests at the first screening, and we were very pleased with the film. It has all of the elements of drama, humor, and heartfelt emotion that are trademarks of all of TC's films. The Fighting Preacher had a long run in theaters, a rarity for LDS films, and is now available on streaming services.
And
After the movie premiere, Tammy and I were invited to meet TC and the film's actors. Rand was there, and we shook hands and smiled at each other as if to say, "Can you believe where that little manuscript has led us?" We felt humbled we had played a role in bringing the Bean story to the world.
There you go.
Notes. Despite my love of music, I don't play any instruments, and my singing skills are barely adequate. I took piano lessons for about a year when I was 8 years old, but I was much more interested in learning to play baseball, and my blossoming musical career came to an end. Meanwhile, Tammy had a natural talent for playing instruments. She first learned to play the clarinet. Then she switched to drums when she was part of the Springville High Marching Band.
I tried doing that.
When our children began taking piano lessons, Tammy joined in and took lessons at the same time. Thankfully, Tammy's musical abilities have been passed down to our children, who all followed in her footsteps of learning to play the clarinet. As the 5 kids worked their way through Springville Junior High, Tammy and I enjoyed a decade's worth seasonal band performances. Toward the end, we knew those songs pretty well. We were grateful to Mr. Booth, the band instructor, for the positive influence he was on our children. Some of our children have branched out to the synthesizer, guitar, and singing, and they have produced some wonderful songs. In our family, we all have different musical tastes, but one musical group we are united on is the British band Keane, with Tom Chaplin on vocals, Tim Rice-Oxley on keyboard, Richard Hughes on drums, and Jesse Quinn on guitar. Their songs just clicked for us. Tammy and I attended the band's first Salt Lake concert and loved it. And from then on, any Keane concert in Utah became an event for the whole family. After we moved to Idaho, we still traveled back to Springville regularly. Keane was an essential part of our road trip set list. I believe Keane is currently on hiatus, but our family will always be big fans. One of Tammy's favorite Keane songs is Spiraling, which she loved to sing and dance along with. Enjoy. Spiraling, follow, follow, follow.
I had muted myself. Okay. don't follow, and don't follow. Okay. That is the moral of the story. So, all right. So we got through letters 1 and 2. But I don't want to make it too much longer than this because I've been making really long videos, long live streams. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post all of the letters individually as videos, as their own videos, just because why not? And to have a reference point too. So since there's going to be more to come. So sounds like this is something I don't want to say look forward to because it's not. I don't know. Just future conversation and discussions about how wrong this is. Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I mean, we can make petitions. We can, like Mom and Larry are going to contact whomever to put a stop to this as much as they can within the law, right? Because this is not cool. It's a way of trying to redeem themselves. People who do this, it's a way for them to redeem themselves. If you don't want the crime, like if you don't want to be convicted or charged and convicted of these crimes, then don't commit the acts is the moral of the story. Okay. This isn't Apostle Neil Maxwell. We don't forgive and forget here. Okay. That's for your maker to do. Okay. Right. We find guilt or innocence, and Chad was found guilty. Lori was found guilty, all guilty all day long. So do y'all have any questions or anything? I know it was cringe. Thanks for going through this with me because it's disgusting. But, or any advice? I don't know. We'll just get it in here. But if not, me and Joe do our live stream on Tuesdays. So we have to finish the Bountiful thing, which is horrific. The alleged Bountiful child sex ring. Which is interesting because it has some of the same people involved that are involved in Lori and Chad's circle, especially where the gifts part comes into play. So, Scooter says he may think it will help his appeals that he was totally misrepresented by the media and law enforcement. Yeah, that part where he says that where law enforcement or media and law enforcement are becoming one or something along those lines. I was like, dude, no, they're not. No, they're not. I'm pulling this up real quick while I'm right here. Okay, let me share this tab. Let me share it. Okay, so yeah, this is Alarm Hidden to Crime. And I mean, she did, I've loved this video. Okay. I love how she took it down or, broke it down. She did it all above the belt, which I really love that, where you don't lower yourself into the same as like Chad and Lori, they are the worst of the worst. And you do it with, couth, with morals, you just keep it above the belt. And I just want to play a little bit of it.
Murderer Chad Daybell is writing letters from death row. And this is a big deal because we have heard from his co-conspirator, his wife, Lori Vallow, in multiple media interviews that she has done from behind bars, but we have never heard from Chad Daybell. But now we are through his own writings. His daughter is allegedly posting these letters online, and the world is reacting. I am reacting. I am in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Daybell, here are a few of the things he says in these letters, and we're gonna get into it. He says he is a peacemaker and not a killer. He says Tammy's death was natural. He says his faith is intact and his excommunication from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is unfair. And he says that if you understand his visions and near-death experiences, the tragedies of 2019, tragedies, not murders, but tragedies. The tragedies of 2019 will finally make sense. I'm Laura Mathias, and this is Hidden True Crime. And tonight, I'll read his words in full context and share a bit of what I see, how these letters are trying to reshape a narrative after the jury has already found Chad Daybell guilty of murdering 3 innocent people, 2 of them children, the other his wife of nearly 30 years. And before we begin, these letters, just so you know where they're coming from, they were publicly posted to X by Chad Daybell's daughter, Emma. In an email to the U.S. Sun, Emma Daybell allegedly wrote, "My father, Chad Daybell, was convicted by the state of Idaho to die. I started a page on X to share his letters and thought you might be interested." End quote. So let's read directly from some of these long-winded letters, which...
Yeah, so y'all go check that out, because she just, I don't know. I was like, yeah, everything that she said. Sometimes people say it, what you're thinking and how you feel, this being one of them. So I appreciate her for her input, because it's needed. And so this is just a reminder of everything we needed to know from Inside Edition 4 years ago. So it's just one of those good summing it up.
Where are your kids? No comment? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
Chad and Lori Vallow Daybell are set to go on trial. Their case has often led to more questions than answers. A mystery so strange and so violent that investigators are still piecing it together.
I did exactly what I felt the Lord was instructing me to do.
Here's what we know about the Daybell case and how an Arizona hairdresser and an Idaho author ended up at the center of a web of 5 suspicious deaths and allegedly cult-like religious beliefs. It was just before Christmas that police in Rexburg, Idaho pleaded with the public for help. 2 children were missing and hadn't been seen since September. 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow was described as having special needs, including autism. Police said his 16-year-old sister, Tylee Ryan, was devoted to him. The FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children were part of the search. Police said this doorbell camera footage was the last known video of JJ. The police said the children's mother, Lori Vallow, wasn't helping to find them and had never reported them missing at all. JJ and Tylee's extended family hired private investigator Rich Robertson for help.
That's the most mysterious thing. All of this attention and all of this speculation, all this anxiety would just simply evaporate if they just said, "Here are the kids."
But Lori and Chad stayed quiet, issuing a statement via their attorney at the time, calling Chad a, quote, loving husband and Lori a, quote, devoted mother. As the search continued for JJ and Tylee, East Idaho News' Nate Eaton tracked the couple down on the sunny island of Kauai, thousands of miles away from Idaho.
Just tell us where they are. Chad, where are Lori's kids?
Police executing a search warrant on the couple in their car found Tylee's cell phone and items belonging to JJ, but there was no sign of the kids.
That's one for you guys.
Chad and Lori were also confronted by Dateline.
It's heading out today?
No comment.
Where are your kids? There's a lot of people who are worried about your kids. Are you guys worried about them?
Nope.
Authorities in Idaho had given Lori a January 30th deadline to prove the kids were okay, but she didn't show up. Then, on February 20th, Lori was arrested in Kauai and charged with felony desertion of JJ and Tylee and misdemeanor charges of resisting and obstructing an officer, solicitation of a crime, and contempt. Lori made her first court appearance in Kauai before being extradited to Idaho. Her former high school friend, Bernadette Flores Lopez, told Inside Edition Digital at the time she couldn't believe the girl she remembered as a devout Mormon cheerleader was in the news for this. And speculation swirled about how this mom of 3 got to this place.
I think she's so brainwashed and so far gone. This person that she's married to is writing books about doomsday and end of the world. And, I know her book, her Mormon religion don't teach that.
Chad wrote about his ability to communicate with people on the other side of the veil and see into the future after having 2 near-death experiences. His ideas also included the existence of past lives and that people could become possessed by demons or zombies.
Ideas that Chad and Lori had about reincarnation weren't just a theological idea. They set Lori and Chad apart as significant figures.
He also says that Julie Rowe is different than Tom Harrison in that Tom Harrison didn't try to make a name for himself with his Visions of Glory book, and that Julie Rowe did. But if you think about it, what I'm coming to learn is that this is a group of individuals that have the same goal and are possibly laying this out in order to infiltrate. So it's like all these players are part of this wider conspiracy. If I'm right, I don't know. Time will tell, but it just appears to be that way to me. So I don't know if he's so accurate. I've read his work.
They didn't just teach that the second coming was near. They taught that they would be the leaders in a movement leading up to the second coming.
And
in June,
on that note as well, it's part of at least the part of the second anointing. When you take part of the second anointing, which happens in secrecy on a Sunday away from, regular temple traffic, and a person is sealed to another person secretly, then in that same, what do you call it? In the ceremony, in the literature, what am I trying to say? In the scriptures that they use, it says that they will be exalted, that they will be, they will lead the 144,000 into the new millennium, which is Zion. They will also become kings, priests, and what is it? Oh my gosh, kings, priests. I have a little flyer right here. Let me get back over there because I'm forgetting way more than, let's see. Well, no, I have this. Right? Ask your bishop if the second anointing is right for you. It's a calling and election made sure, guaranteed, right? So it basically guarantees a person's spot in heaven, aka, I believe, NWO. Just saying. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm really wrong. But just all the same language that is used in that ceremony is the same thing that Lori said to my uncle, Charles. I'm a God. I'm here to lead 144,000 into the new millennium in the church of the firstborn, blah, 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 blah. It is in the scriptures. So they didn't teach it. It's how it is. It's what happens when people take part of that. Don't have secret ceremonies.
Investigators searching Chad Daybell's land discovered JJ and Tylee's remains. They said they had used cell phone data from Lori's brother, Alex Cox, to find the remains, which they believe Alex buried there. Chad was arrested and charged with willfully destroying, concealing, or altering evidence, and conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. He has pleaded not guilty and has denied all allegations of wrongdoing.
Anything you want to say, Chad?
During his preliminary hearing, the court heard this phone call between Chad and Lori on the day the children's remains were found.
Hello?
Are you okay?
Mm-mm.
The audio is hard to hear at times, but it sounds like Chad tells Lori he feels relieved.
Pretty calm. I was told Mark, so
I'm thinking of the show Cliff.
Lori is also facing felony charges of conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence in the case of JJ and Tylee. She has also pleaded not guilty and denied all allegations of wrongdoing. Meanwhile, the investigation into Lori's husband Charles's death and the death of Chad's first wife Tammy continue. The state of Idaho announced Chad and Lori are under investigation for conspiracy, attempted murder, and/or murder in Tammy's death. Julie Rowe, an author who worked with Chad, told Inside Edition Digital something he said just before Tammy's death disturbed her.
3 weeks before Tammy dies, he said to me, and he was kind of in this frustrated voice, My plan can't move forward until Tammy's dead.
Police in Arizona say Lori remains a person of interest in the shooting death of her fourth husband, who was seen in this body cam footage trying to get police to help Lori.
So how does she pose a threat to your children?
I don't know what she's going to do with them. I don't know if she's going to flee with them. She's going to hurt them.
Charles Vallow had filed a petition for Lori to undergo an emergency mental health evaluation in January 2019, months before he was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Cox himself died in December, and his death remains under investigation. Charles tells police multiple times he is worried Lori could hurt someone.
I want her to get it out. Yeah. She's not like, I love her to death. Something's going on. Okay. And if she wants me gone, fine. I'll do all that stuff. I just don't want her to hurt. Okay. I just don't want to hurt anybody else.
As JJ and Tylee's extended families are left to mourn the children, many say Charles's warnings about Lori went unheeded. All have vowed to continue to fight for justice for JJ and Tylee. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Kaylin Ford.
Well, thank you, Kaylin Ford. All right, thank you. And then here we go. Just refreshing the memories.
I'm Chief Shane Sherman.
Oh God, I can't hear it.
Directly to my right is my Assistant Chief of Police, Gary Hagan. And then to his right is Sheriff Lynn Humphreys of Fremont County. Today, Officer Hagan will be giving the release, and so I'll turn the time over to him.
Oh my God, I can't hear it.
We'd first like to thank everybody for coming out today. Thank everybody that's been following this case from day one. This has been a very trying thing for everybody involved, and we just want to emphasize how thankful we are for everybody. Again, my name is Assistant Chief Gary Hagan. Spelling of my last name is Hagan, Hagen. Wanted to give a brief press release today about some events that have occurred today in regards to our missing children's case of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow. This morning we served the Rexburg Police Department and the Fremont County Sheriff's Office and the FBI served a search warrant in the 200 block of 1900 East here in Fremont County, also known as Chad Daybell's residence. Throughout the investigation, detectives and investigators have recovered what's believed to be human remains that have not been identified at this time. We are not going to answer any questions at this time in regards to any of the further the investigation until we have more details, but we were wanting to get this out to let everybody know before there's speculation or rumor that starts flying. So again, we're not going to take any questions at this time. We'll save that for a later press conference when we have more details. But again, we just want to reemphasize how much appreciation we have for you guys for coming out here and for covering this, and for the families and friends of everybody involved. So we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Now we're going to jump to here.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jessica Taylor. The months-long search for 7-year-old JJ Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan officially comes to a close. The human remains found on Chad Daybell's property are officially identified as the missing kids. The Rexburg Police Department announcing the findings earlier today following autopsies performed in Boise. The remains were found at Daybell's home in Salem Tuesday after a search warrant was issued. Authorities have not released details about the conditions of the remains. Rexburg Police, Fremont County Sheriff deputies, along with the FBI, made the discovery in Daybell's backyard. Daybell has been arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of concealment or destruction of evidence. The probable cause has been sealed with the case, and Daybell is scheduled to appear for a preliminary hearing on July 1st.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I keep finding things that I want to share. Okay.
For nearly 6,000 years, God has held you, most of you, in reserve to make your appearance.
Yes, they have.
In the final days before the second coming of the Lord.
God reserves spirits for this dispensation who would have the courage and the determination to face the world and all the powers of the evil one, and who would build up the Zion of our God, fearless of all consequences, unquote.
Fear shall come upon all people, but you and I know that the Lord has prepared places of safety to which he is eager to guide us.
God has saved for the final inning some of his strongest children who will help bear off the kingdom triumphantly. For you are the generation that must be prepared to meet your God. There has never been more expected of the faithful in such a short time, a short period, as there is of us.
As the challenges around us increase, we must commit to do more to qualify for the companionship of the Holy Ghost. Casual prayer won't be enough. Reading a few verses of the scripture won't be enough. Doing the minimum of what the Lord asks of us won't be enough.
This preparation must consist of more than just casual membership in the church. You must learn to be guided by personal revelation and the counsel of the living prophet, so you will not be deceived.
I know without question, my brothers and sisters, that God lives. I testify to you that this is his work. I testify as well that our Savior, Jesus Christ, is at the head of this church, which bears his name. I know that the sweetest experience in all this life is to feel his promptings as he directs us in the furtherance of his work.
We know not the day nor the hour of his coming, but of this you may feel assured. You stand close to the great day of the Lord. In his words of modern revelation, we say to you, seek the face of the Lord always.
And they did.
You will live in the midst of economic, political, and spiritual instability. When you see these signs, unmistakable evidences that his coming is nigh, be not troubled, but stand in holy places, and be not moved until the day of the Lord come.
Now it's safe to shut it off. Okay. Sorry for the god awful music. But aren't Joe, I know you say you're inspired and get rebaptized all over again, but doesn't it make you want to go find places of safety and to take it upon yourself to seek the face of the Lord in the temple, which means getting your calling and election made sure, and the more sure word of prophecy. And it also means seeing Jesus Christ face to face in the temple. Code words. What do we call? Oh my gosh, dog whistles. I just was about to say whistleblower, but dog whistles to do these things. So when they say it's not taught, it's not just taught. It is ingrained over and over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. So not a far stretch. It's no wonder there are so many offshoots. Just throwing that in there. No, he's being sarcastic as all get out. What could go wrong? Exactly. What could go wrong? And we still see Mormons in the news headlines today. There is a niche for true crime, Mormon true crime, in my opinion. So there's a lot of people that don't want to believe so. And that's okay. Whatever. Yeah, cognitive dissonance. Joe has taught me all about cognitive dissonance, and it is real. It's so real. And nobody is immune to it. So anyways, thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. And I'll probably do the next part of this Wednesday, unless for some reason, we don't do the Bountiful tomorrow with Joe. I don't know. We need to finish that though. So if not tomorrow, then it will be Wednesday and we'll reconvene and analyze the rest of Chad Daybell's story. That's all it is. But thank you, mods. I appreciate you so much. And thank you, all the chatters. I appreciate you being here. And thank you, Libby Doobada. I can't say it. So thank you, Little Brands, for your $5 super sticker. Appreciate it so much. Anyways, all right. So till next crime. I'm kidding. Till next time. Love always wins. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe, and Brandon. Love always wins. You guys are proof of this. Be good.